All right, so today we're going to dive into athletic core strength.
Okay.
And we've got three sources we're going to be looking at for this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Train Heroic Children's Versi, and then some insights from trainer Erica Suter.
All right.
And I think it'd be really interesting to kind of see what they all have to say and maybe where they agree and disagree.
Yeah, for sure.
So when we talk about athletic core strength, you know what comes to mind for you?
Well, first thing I think about is just like moving beyond the six-pack.
Yeah.
It's not just about aesthetics. It's about building a core that can actually perform.
Right.
And all three sources kind of really hit on that in different ways.
Yeah, and I've been doing planks forever, it feels like. But sometimes I feel like I'm just like existing in that position.
Yeah.
And I'm not actually working anything.
It's funny you say that because Erica Suter actually says,
Okay.
I don't feel this, quote unquote, says everyone who holds a plank. So, these sources really emphasize that like your core's primary function is to like support your movements, not just to look good.
Right.
And Children's Mercy gives this great image of like imagining your core as like an internal weightlifting belt.
Okay.
Supporting your spine, transferring power through your body.
It's like that foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's function over aesthetics for sure.
Right.
But the anatomy of the core, I mean, it's more than just those six-pack muscles, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, thinking beyond the six-pack is really key because your core is involved in every athletic movement you make.
Yeah.
Whether a tennis player is serving, a golfer is swinging, or even just like a basketball player boxing out for a rebound.
Right.
It all starts with the core.
And Train Heroic talks about how most ab exercises are just variations of a setup.
Right.
Which really just focuses on kind of bending forward.
Exactly. And that's where the concept of planes of motion comes in.
Okay.
So imagine swinging a baseball bat, that's rotation, or shuffling side to side like a tennis player, that's the frontal plane.
Okay.
And then you have like the forward and backward motion of a sit-up, that's sagittal.
Yeah.
We got to train our core in all three planes to be truly athletic and resilient.
So moving in more than one direction.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Okay.
So Train Heroic breaks down core training into 5 key movement categories.
Okay.
Flexion and extension.
Yeah.
Lateral flexion and extension. Rotation and anti-rotation and bracing.
Got it.
So let's unpack those a little bit, starting with maybe lateral flexion and extension.
Okay, so think about a basketball player defending against a drive to the basket.
Okay.
They're shifting their weight, leaning into that lateral movement without losing balance.
Yeah.
That's lateral flexion and extension at work.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
So to train that, Train Heroic recommends the kettlebell or dumbbell teapot.
That's a good one.
What are some of the key points for that one?
So with that, it's all about engaging those obliques, those muscles on the sides of your core. So imagine you're holding the handle of a teapot with one hand weight in the other and slowly bend sideways.
Okay.
But the key is to control the movement.
Right.
No leaning forward or back. It's a side bend.
Pure and simple.
Exactly.
So how does that translate then to like real athleticism beyond basketball?
So many examples.
Yeah.
Think about a golfer swinging, a swimmer reaching for the wall.
Okay.
Even a baseball player fielding a ground ball. These all involve lateral flexion and extension.
Yeah.
And having strength and stability in that plane of motion helps you generate power out full, stay balanced,
Right.
and avoid those like awkward twists that can lead to injury.
Yeah. Nobody wants that.
Nope.
All right. So we've got those side-to-side movements covered. Next up, let's talk about rotation.
Okay, so here it's not just about twisting, but about controlled rotation that originates from your core.
Right.
So think about a quarterback throwing a pass or a tennis player hitting a forehand.
Oh.
That's rotation.
So to train this movement, they recommend the isometric lunge banded rotation.
Another good one.
How do you visualize that?
So picture yourself holding a resistance band anchored to a sturdy object.
Okay.
You're standing perpendicular to it with tension in the band.
Got it.
You step back into a lunge, hold the band with outstretched arms. Now, keeping that lunge position solid, you rotate your torso, pulling the band from side to side.
So like a controlled twist in that lunge position.
Exactly.
Okay. I can see how that would really target those muscles.
Yeah.
What are some things to make sure that you're doing it right?
So Train Heroic gives a great tip. They say, let your head follow your torso as you rotate.
Okay.
This helps you maintain that spinal rotation.
Right.
And of course, you want to remember to control the movement in both directions. No letting the band snap back.
Right, like whiplash.
Exactly.
So we're training those muscles to work in a smooth and controlled way.
Yeah.
What are the benefits of that?
I mean, think about a volleyball player spiking a ball or a hockey player taking a slap shot. They need powerful, controlled rotation originating from their core to generate force. So this type of training not only improves performance, but it also helps protect your spine from those like sudden twists and turns that can happen in sports.
So important.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the next category, which is anti-rotation.
All right.
This one sounds kind of counterintuitive to me.
It does a little bit.
So what is that?
So it's about resisting that twisting force.
Okay.
It's like holding your ground against an opponent, trying to push you off balance.
Okay.
Imagine a basketball player driving to the basket.
Yeah.
They need to resist the defender's attempts to like knock them off course.
Yeah.
That's anti-rotation in action.
So building that like rock solid stability to maintain control.
That's it.
Even when forces are working against you.
Exactly. And a classic exercise for this is the Paloff press.
Okay.
So you'll need that resistance band, again, anchored to a sturdy point. Stand sideways to the anchor, holding the band with both hands close to your chest. And slowly extend your arms forward, resisting the pull of the band that's trying to rotate you.
So I'm like actively fighting against it.
Yes.
Okay, what are some keys to making sure that I'm doing that correctly?
So keep perfect form throughout the movement.
Yeah.
Don't let your hips twist or your shoulders hunch.
Okay.
Focus on maintaining a stable resistance.
Right.
And you'll really feel those core muscles working to keep you steady.
So how does resisting rotation benefit us?
It's huge for injury prevention.
Okay.
Think about making a sudden change of direction in soccer.
Yeah.
A quick pivot in basketball. Even lifting a heavy object off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
If your core isn't strong enough to resist that rotational force, you're much more susceptible to strains and sprains.
So it's like building that internal brace
Yes.
to protect your spine from those unexpected moments.
Absolutely. It's all about preparing your body for the unpredictable forces of life and sports.
I love it. Okay, so last but not least, bracing.
Okay, so this one might sound a little more familiar.
Yeah, this is where planks come in, right?
Planks are definitely a good starting point.
Okay.
But before we get to planks, we need to understand what bracing actually means.
Okay.
So think about putting on a weightlifting belt.
Yeah.
Engaging all those muscles to create a stable cylinder around your spine. That's what we're doing with bracing, consciously engaging our entire core from diaphragm to pelvic floor.
So it's not just tightening your abs. It's like that whole core system we were talking about earlier.
That's exactly it. And while planks are good, Train Heroic takes it a step further with an exercise called the dead bug.
I've heard of that one.
It's a good one.
Sounds a little intimidating, though.
It can be.
How would you describe that one?
So it's all about bracing while moving your limbs, which is key for so many activities.
Okay.
So you lie on your back with your arms extended toward the ceiling, knees bent. Then keeping your lower back flat against the floor, you slowly lower your right arm and left leg toward the ground at the same time. So opposite arm and leg. Yeah. Exactly, while maintaining that strong core brace.
Sounds challenging.
It is, but it's so effective.
What are some things I should think about while I'm doing that to make sure I'm doing it right?
So control is key here.
Yeah.
Train Heroic recommends taking like 3 to 5 seconds to lower your arm and leg, pausing for a moment, and then slowly raising them back up.
So slow and controlled.
Exactly. This helps you maintain that core engagement and avoid any jerky movements.
Got it. So what are the benefits of the dead bug? Why should I care about this exercise?
So the dead bug is fantastic for building that core stability and strength, which is essential for any athlete, but also for just everyday life.
Right.
You know, think about a runner maintaining their form, a weightlifter bracing for a heavy lift, or even someone just bending over to pick something up.
Yeah.
A strong brace protects your spine and prevents those lower back aches and pains that plague so many people.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
But it's clear that core training goes way beyond those basic crunches.
Oh, sure.
We need to be thinking about multidimensional strength, working in all those planes of motion, challenging our core in new ways.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's not about building a six-pack. It's about building a functional core that supports your athletic performance, prevents injuries, and helps you move better in all aspects of your life.
So we've got some foundational exercises down.
Yeah.
But how do we actually progress our core training?
That's a great question.
Crunches are easy to measure. You just do more.
Right.
But how do you challenge yourself with these more complex exercises?
Yeah, how do we make it harder?
Yeah, let's dive into that in part 2 of this deep dive.
Sounds good.
So we've got those foundation exercises down, but how do we actually, like, level up our training.
Right.
Make it harder, get stronger. It's not like we can just do like more dead bugs or something.
Yeah, that's where Erica Suter's insights are really interesting. She actually challenges this idea that longer planks are the key to core strength.
Yeah.
Like, remember how you said sometimes you're just like holding the plank, not really working?
Yeah, just like existing in that position.
She addresses that directly.
Right.
She says, and I quote, "I don't feel this."
Yeah.
Says everyone who holds a plank.
So true.
So she's all about shorter, more intense exercises.
Okay.
It's not about enduring. It's about challenging your muscles to work harder.
Okay.
For a shorter period of time.
So instead of those like 5-minute planks, we should be focusing on like shorter bursts.
Yeah. Think of it like lifting weights. You wouldn't just hold a light weight for 5 minutes.
Right.
You'd progressively increase the weight to build strength.
So how do we do that with core training, though?
So there's a lot of ways you can do that.
Okay.
So like instead of a regular plank, you could try adding weight to your back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or for the Paloff press, imagine someone gently pushing you off balance while you're holding that press.
Oh, okay. So like creating that instability.
Exactly.
How do I know, though, if I'm ready for that added weight or that?
That's a great question, and it's all about listening to your body.
Okay.
And gradually increasing the challenge.
Okay.
So start with a small amount of weight, focus on maintaining perfect form.
Okay.
And if you can hold that for, say, 30 seconds with good technique, then you can try adding a bit more weight.
Okay.
Or extending the hold time.
So still focusing on that control and form.
Always.
We're not just adding weight to add weight.
Exactly. And Suter really stresses avoiding those compensation patterns.
Yeah.
Like if you're feeling it in your back or your hips,
yeah,
you're probably not engaging your core correctly.
Right. So much of this is about that, like, awareness of how your body's moving and making sure that you're doing right.
Body awareness is key.
Okay, so we're focusing on those short bursts of intense effort. We're challenging ourselves with that progressive overload and always prioritizing form. Anything else that Suter says we should keep in mind?
She does mention that it's okay to incorporate those hypertrophy-focused workouts sometimes.
Yeah.
The high rep, longer duration stuff.
Right.
They can help with muscle endurance.
Yeah.
But the priority for building a truly strong and functional core should be strength.
Okay, so maybe a few longer planks here and there for endurance.
Exactly.
But really keep the focus on those shorter, more challenging variations.
Yeah, it's about working smarter, not necessarily longer.
And I think that's so important because we're all busy.
We are.
And, those short targeted workouts can be so much more effective.
Absolutely.
And fit into your schedule.
They're more fun.
Way more fun.
Than those hour-long gym sessions.
Right. So we've talked about the anatomy, the exercises, how to progress the training. But I think it's important to kind of step back and be like, why should I care?
Right.
What's the real impact of building a bulletproof core?
This is where it gets really interesting because a strong core is about so much more than just athletic performance.
Okay, tell me more.
It impacts every aspect of your life.
Okay.
Think about it. A strong core improves your posture.
Right.
Which can reduce back pain, even boost your confidence.
Yeah.
It helps you move more efficiently. Yeah. Whether you're lifting heavy things, playing with your kids, or just walking down the street, it can even improve your breathing and digestion.
Wow. I never even thought about that.
That's true.
But it makes sense.
It all starts with the core.
Yeah, a strong core really is that foundation for everything.
Exactly. It's about more than just looking good. It's about feeling good in your body, moving with ease and power.
Right.
And just living a healthier, more active life.
So we've really shifted our perspective, I think, on core training.
I think so, too.
It's not about endless crunches or holding a plank till you turn blue.
Right.
It's about understanding how your core functions, training in all those dimensions.
Yeah.
Challenging yourself in new ways.
Absolutely.
To build that functional strength.
That's what it's all about.
And it's something that can really transform your performance, but also just your well-being.
For sure. And remember, even just a few minutes a day.
Yeah.
Focused on those high-quality, intense exercises can make a huge difference.
It's like a small investment with big returns.
Exactly. You move with more confidence, you're less prone to injuries,
right,
and you can truly perform at your best in any activity.
Yeah. Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a question.
Okay.
Think about your favorite sport or activity, or even just your everyday life. What core movements are most crucial for success?
Okay.
And for staying injury-free?
That's a great question to ponder.
And I think once you start to like see the world through this lens, you start to notice it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm using my core right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about connecting the dots.
Right.
And applying this knowledge to your own unique goals and activities.
Exactly. And building a bulletproof core, it's a journey, not a destination.
It is a journey.
Keep learning, keep experimenting, keep challenging yourself.
Absolutely.
To move better and feel stronger.
That's what it's all about.
All right, that's it for this deep dive into athletic core strength.
Awesome.
Until next time, keep that core strong.
You know, it's really crazy how much we rely on our core for everything.
It really is.
You know, from like high-level athletics to just bending over to pick something up. It's that foundation.
Yeah, it is. And it protects us from injury.
Right, exactly. And like you were saying earlier, it's like you can't build a strong house on a weak foundation.
Exactly. And your core is that foundation.
It is. So we've kind of shifted our perspective on what core strength means. We've explored some exercises. We've talked about how to progress our training.
Yeah.
But before we wrap things up, I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier about how a strong core can actually boost your confidence.
Oh, yeah.
How does that connection work?
Well, think about it. When you stand tall with good posture, you just feel more confident, right?
And good posture is all about having a strong, engaged core.
Right.
It's that sense of stability and control that can translate into feeling more self-assured.
I see what you mean. It's like that feeling of being like grounded and centered.
Yeah.
Which can definitely have a positive impact on how you feel about yourself.
Absolutely.
It's almost like a chain reaction. Strong core, good posture, increased confidence.
It really is. And that confidence can spill over into other areas of your life, too.
It's like a superpower.
It is.
It starts from within.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to this idea of a strong, functional core.
Exactly.
So to wrap up this deep dive into athletic core strength, I want to leave you with this challenge.
Okay.
We've talked about how important it is to train your core in all three dimensions.
Right.
Forward and back, side to side rotationally.
Yep.
So as you go about your day-to-day, I want you to pay attention to how you're moving.
Okay.
Notice those core muscles engaging as you walk, lift things, play sports, even just sit at your desk. Start to build that awareness of your core, and you'll be amazed at how much it impacts everything you do.
It's amazing how much we use it without even realizing it.
It is, and remember, building a bulletproof core doesn't have to be complicated.
Yep.
Even just a few minutes each day, focusing on those high-quality, intense exercises can make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
It's all about consistency and making it a part of your routine.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to challenge yourself and try new things.
Yeah.
You know, explore different exercises. Find what works best for you. And most importantly, have fun with it.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Great episode.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep that core strong.